Okay, welcome back. So we're closing in on the end now. We've got a few classes left, and this one I'm particularly excited about. Not because I play one. I actually, when we get to my final thoughts, it's going to be quite contradictory what I'm saying now. But you have to wait till the end to find out what I say. So it's a good class. I mean, it's been overhauled. So when we go over the talents, that's going to take probably longer than most of us would like. But obviously, I want to be thorough. I want you to understand every talent that's changed and why it's changed. From my perspective, obviously some of it's fact, some of it's opinion. Obviously, if there's facts that I get wrong, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree with my opinions, then each to their own. But make sure you like, subscribe, check out the giveaway. We're closing in on, as of the point of recording now, closing in on 500 subscribers, which is amazing. So thank you for your support. Obviously, keep the support coming. So that means we're nearly halfway to the first giveaway. So once I'm at 1,000 subscribers, someone at random, and it is random, it will be live streamed, it will be uploaded on YouTube, will win 3 months WoW time or an Amazon voucher of equal value, whatever the winner would prefer. So make sure you subscribe to be involved in that. And let's just get straight into it. This is the Hunter in TBC. Right, okay, welcome back. So we've done loads of classes so far. We're going to do the same as I always do for all the other classes. If you haven't seen them, please check them out. Help support the channel. It's been going really well, particularly the last couple of months. So thank you. I've already thanked you once in the intro, but I'll thank you again. Really appreciate your support. It's your support that makes me want to put these videos out. But enough of that. Yeah. Nancy stuff. But anyway, so we'll start with talents. Then we're going to look at new abilities. Then we're going to look at what effect the new abilities and talents have had on the rotation. Then we're going to look at PvE and PvP viability, and then we're going to go into what do we do last? Oh, just my thoughts, just my thoughts on the class. Having played all 3 classes, all 3 specs, played about the class quite intricately on TBC, knowing things from the past. So this is going to be a lot of facts, a lot of opinions. So some are not fact, which, you know, if you don't like my opinions, I can't do a lot about that. But if you don't like my facts, then please correct me in the comments, because every day's a school day. I'm all up for learning. So let's just get straight into it. We'll start with... let me just get this up properly. Yep. So we'll start with the first tier. So in the first tier, the only thing that's changed is improved aspect of the Hawk at the moment. I'll show you in Classic first. So improved aspect, while aspect of the Hawk is active, all normal ranged attacks have a 1% chance of increasing attack speed by 30%. Obviously, you put 5 points in it and you get 5% of increase in your attack speed by 30%. Basically, what they've done in TBC is halved the effect, but doubled the chance. So overall, a good change in my opinion. So what it does now is it gives you a 10% chance to increase your attack speed by 15%. So where it's a 5% proc at the moment, it's now a 10% proc, but obviously the actual effect that you're going to get is halved, which, yeah, I think that's personally a nice change. You know, it's not as RNG related or RNG dependent, should we say. You know, 10% is quite a nice big chance when you're going to be attacking. Especially if you're BM, you're going to be attacking very fast. You'll be getting that proc quite a lot. So then endurance training, like I said, there's going to be a lot of changes, so I'm just going to fly through them as quick as possible. Endurance training in Classic at the moment is just for your pet. Gives your pet 15% health. In TBC, it only gives 10% health, but it gives you 5% as well. So it's still 5 points. So the overall benefit of the 15% health is now the same, but you, as the hunter, get 5% of it. The hunter gets 10%. So tier 2, we've got improved Eyes of the Beast was replaced with something that's actually useful. So currently in Classic, improved Eyes of the Beast increases the duration of Eyes of the Beast by 30 seconds, and you can put 2 points in it. So increases it by a minute for a talent for an ability you probably rarely use anyway. So now you've got Focus Fire. So all damage caused by you is increased by 1%, while your pet is active, and the critical strike chance of your kill command ability is increased by 10%. So that's a 2% damage buff, and then 20% crit chance with kill command. Not going to go into what kill command is yet if you don't know anything about TBC and you've only played Classic, but we will get into what kill command is in the abilities. So yes, again, that's a nice change. So aspect of the monkey has been buffed slightly, so it gives you 6% dodge now, whereas in Classic currently it gives you 5%, but you get the 6% for 3 talent points rather than 5% for 5. So again, quite nice. Not something you'd ever take unless you were some really niche spec. I don't know, you was toying with something, but overall, excuse me, yeah, you're probably not going to use it. So thick hide, yeah, much like endurance training. So it increases the armor rate of your pets by 7% and your armor contribution from items by 4%. So currently, thick hide in classic increases your pet's armor by 30%. So now it's doing it by 20%, but you're getting 10% as well. So again, they've not actually changed the overall amount, they've just split it between you and the pet. So overall, that's really good. I think you getting more health, you getting more mana, you getting more armor, things like that, it's only a benefit. So, yeah, pretty good. So tier 3, the only thing that's changed is pathfinding. So pathfinding's actually had a buff, which is nice. So in classic, currently it increases your speed of cheater by aspect and personal by 6%. In TBC, it's 8%. So moving a little bit quicker, nothing to grumble about there. Down to the next tier, so a couple of changes here. So improved men pet. So at the moment, improved men pet gives you a 30% chance of cleansing one cursed disease, magic or poison effect from the pet each tick. Now in TBC, it does exactly the same thing, but it's reduces its mana cost as well by 20%. So quite nice. Actually, look, see, this is what I mean by looking at this. That's so it still is 50%. Yeah, that's fine. It goes from 15 to 50. Very strange talent, if you ask me. I reckon maybe that's probably wrong. Be different in game. Anyway, and also ferocity has been a bit nerfed, but BM's overpowered in TBC anyway. You'll probably be topping damage meters in the first tier, so I wouldn't worry too much. Ferocity in classic at the moment gives you 15% crit chance of your pets, whereas in TBC it only gives you 10%. But very minor, not really, not worth worrying about at all because your pets get buffed. Yeah, through the roof in TBC. So then we're moving down to what tier now? 5? Yeah, tier 5. So big buff to Bestial Discipline. The other two are the same. So we'll forget Intimidation and Spirit Bond. Bestial Discipline increases the focus regen of your pets by 20%. In TBC, it increases the focus of your pets by 100%. That's big. It's worth losing 5% crit just for that focus regen. So, yeah, that's very nice. So, in the next tier, the Frenzy is still there. So, 100% to get 30% attack speed after a crit. So, that's the same. But now you've had a new addition, which is Animal Handler. So, it increases the speed while mounted by 8% with 2 points, and your pet's chance to hit by 4%. Which is nice, the less your pet's missing, the more damage it's going to do. Not really a great deal to really need to explain there. Then the next tier, so you've still got Bestial Wrath, still there, but now you've got all the new additions. So we can now just get onto all the new stuff in Beast Mastery. So you've got Ferocious Inspiration. When your pet scores a critical hit, all party members have all damage increased by 1% for 10 seconds. So that's 3% for 10 seconds. Now this is what I was saying right at the start in the intro. There's your hunters are in a really good place in TBC. They've got 2 specs in particular, which bring some very good buffs to the party, to the raid. Survival slightly better, but I'm going to say that, and I'll get to why I say that soon. So lovely reason to bring a hunter is to give your rogues, your warriors, or whatever you want, this extra 3% damage because your pet's going to be critting a lot, so that's good. Cobra Reflexes increases your chance of dodge and your pet's chance of dodge by 3% per point. Yeah, whatever. It's not really important. Not even going to talk about it. Serpent Swiftness. So this is a nice one, giving you and your pet 20% attack speed. It's quite. I say this about all these end talents. I don't really know what I expect, but it's a bit boring still. 20% attack speed, but yeah, it's still nice. 20% attack speed for both of you. Brilliant, nice talent. And then the Beast Within, the last one. So this is, you could more or less call this improved Bestial Wrath. So when your pet's under the effects of Bestial Wrath, you also go into a rage, causing 10% additional damage and reducing the mana cost of all spells by 20% for 18 seconds. While enraged, you do not feel pity or remorse or fear and cannot be stopped unless killed. So amazing. What a DPS cooldown to have. But it's on such a short cooldown as well. Only 2 minutes. So really nice. Yeah, really nice end talent. Whenever you pop Bestial Wrath, you're going to be pumping out some big deeps. So yeah, overall, Beast Mastery is in a really good place. I'm going to get to after the new abilities. I'll go a bit more in depth in which one of these trees you would want to use. So stick around for the talents. I'm trying to do this as quick as possible. So now if we move on to Marksman. Sorry, I just need to change over there first. So Marksman, we've got tier 1 and tier 2. I'll do both tiers at the same time because it's just a bit strange. So efficiency and lethal shots. So we'll work with classic first. So efficiency is what reduces your mana cost by 10% of shots and stings, and then lethal shots is your crit. So those have basically just swapped places. But the interesting change is improved Hunter's Mark. So the specs that I'll show you later on what a raid spec is, I don't take improved Hunter's Mark on any of the specs. That's because the specs I've put together is assuming that you have another hunter in the group with Hunter's Mark, so in the raid. So one of you, if there's 3 hunters in a raid, one of you need improved Hunter's Mark in TBC. Well, you need it in Classic as well, but you need it in TBC. But you don't obviously all need it, so discuss amongst yourselves who don't mind taking it, and then you're all good. So the new improved Hunter's Mark, basically the same amount of attack power that you get as ranged attack power from Hunter's Mark now affects melee. So again, like I was saying, how fantastic is that? You're giving these melee all this extra attack power. If you was BM, you're giving them that extra 3% damage as well. These are, the raid utility now is, well, not utility, but what they bring to the raid buff, debuff wise is amazing. So yeah, awesome. So that's been switched around. So if you've got a hunt, I didn't want to go into this straight away, but I'm going to mention it. So if you've only got one hunter in a Karazhan group, and you preferably want them as survival. So early on, you're going to want them. If you're looking for personal DPS, you'll be Beast Mastery. If you're looking for buff in the raid, or you're the only hunter, I truly believe if you're the only hunter, you should be survival. So that's because of exposed weakness. But again, we'll go into that soon. So next tier. Go for the throat's new, so it's not currently in here. So in the classic talents, so your ranged critical hits cause your pet to generate 50 focus. Nice, just keeps your pet being able to use claw, bite, whatever your pet's got. So yeah, pretty good. Then you've got Hawkeye has just been moved over to survival. So where at the moment you would go down, you'd get your extra range on your weapons. That's actually now a survival talent. So it's much of a much. It doesn't really matter. It's early in survival anyway. So yeah, doesn't really matter. So instead of that, there's now So in tier 3, rapid killing we've got now. That's right. So rapid killing reduces the cooldown of your rapid fire ability by 2 minutes. So in addition, after killing an opponent that yields experience or honor, your next aim shot, arcane shot, or auto shot causes 20% additional damage. So that's quite nice. Good for when you're out grinding. In raids, if you've killed ads, then okay, you're going to get a free. Preferably, you're probably going to spend it on an aim shot. 20% extra damage on an aim shot. But arguably, to be fair, if you're a survival, you might want to just go with a quick arcane shot because you're better off trying to just pump crits out rather than stood there for 3 seconds without attacking, when you're trying to keep the exposed weakness debuff up. So yeah, rapid killing is still quite a nice talent to have anyway. Then you've got mortal shots and improved stings. So the only thing that's changed is quite a substantial change. So improved serpent sting, as it is in tier 4 at the moment, increases the damage done by your serpent sting. Now you've actually increases the damage done by serpent sting, wyvern sting by 6%, mana drained by your viper sting. And the bit that's substantial about this change is the fact that it gives you a 30% chance to reduce to resist dispels. So if you're a PvPer and you're running around viper stinging the healer, and they're getting mana drained by you, and they're also wasting mana trying to dispel themselves, and it's resisting. Pretty good, to be fair. It's a good talent for PvP. For PvE, yeah, you're not really going to use any of these things anyway in PvE, so yeah, not really worth worrying about too much. Then we got, moving down to tier 5, so we've got Scattershot, Barrage, Improved Scorpion Sting. So improved Scorpion Sting, let's talk about Scorpion Sting first. So that's actually been revamped. It's not it's not the same at all as it is in TBC. So when we come down here, so the reason improved Scorpion Sting's not there, you've now got concussive barrage. So your successful auto attacks have a 2% chance to daze the target for 4 seconds. Very much PvP talent. 6% in total to daze for 4 seconds. Could if you're kiting in PvE for some reason, I suppose arguably it could be useful. But so Scorpion Sting now actually reduces the chance for the target to hit by 5%, which is nice in PvP and PvE. So that's the reason why improved Scorpion Sting's gone. So it no longer is useless. It's actually a very, 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 very good sting. And you're not going to want to be using Serpent Sting when you could Scorpion Sting a boss. So, you're just getting your tank that closer to being unhittable, if you like. All right, so then there's Barrage, which at the moment on Classic it increases the damage done by 15% of multi-shot and volley. It's gone down to 12%. But when we get improved barrage, we get loads more. So it's not an issue. But just thought it was worth mentioning. So tier 6, it's just the same. So increases damage you do by 5%. But we now got an extra talent, which is combat experience, which for 2 points is quite nice. 2% agility and 6% intellect. Nothing much to talk about there, but it's nice. Extra intellect's nice. Extra agility is nice. You wouldn't say no for 2 points. True Shot Aura, still there, still the same, but now all the new talents in Marksman. So we've got improved barrage, which increases the critical strike chance of your multi-shot ability by 4%, so 12% in total. And with 3 points, and then with 3 points in, it reduces your chance to avoid interruption caused by damage while channeling volley by 100%. So again, that's nice. So obviously the 12% crit chance is beautiful. That's sort of why they've tried to balance it, if you like. Took a few percent off the damage from barrage, but then gave you 12% crit. So still a buff. Then you got Careful Aim as well, so increases your ranged attack power by an amount equal to 15% of your total intellect. So that's going to be 45% of your total intellect. Nice talent. Again, nothing much to talk about, but more attack power is good, more intellect's good. Keeps you doing more special attacks without having to go into Aspect of the Viper. Oh, spoiler alert! We'll see what that is soon. Master Marksman increases your range attack power by 10% with 5 points. Yep, it's all right. I'm not a fan of these boring sort of talents being at the end. You want a nice sort of proc or something, like 20% chance to do something where you have to press something else. That's where I think these sort of end talents should have something a bit more interesting, but whatever. And then Silencing Shot. Don't even really want to say anything about Silencing Shot, because they've turned Marksman, or tried to turn Marksman into a PvP spec, basically. There's still some PvE viability there, as in True Shot Aura is always going to be nice. You could arguably say Improved Hunter's Mark, but a Survival Hunter would bring that, a Beast Mastery Hunter would bring that, whatever, But Silencing Shot. If this Marksman Hunter done 100 less DPS than your Survival Hunter, but said, oh, well, I can silence every 20 seconds, it's not really going to get him in the raid, is it? So, that's a very meh end talent, but cool, whatever. So, Survival. So, this has had some big changes. It is now, an amazing... not personal damage. Beast Mastery will be the best DPS to begin with, definitely. But Survival will still do good damage, but bring so much through just one debuff on the boss. Because you got to remember, even when we look back at Beast Mastery, where you get the 3% damage buff, that's to the party. That's it. So just bear that in mind, and then when we get to what exposed weakness is, you'll understand why I'm like I am over it. It's amazing. So we'll go through this really quick. So Hawkeye is now in tier 1. So like in Classic, where we said that it's down in Marksman, it's now over in Survival. I'll try and do tier 1 and 2 together, because there was a lot of changes in tier 1 and 2, but just where they've just changed things about. So like Savage Strikes has been moved up now. So at the moment, Savage Strikes is down here. They've put Savage Strikes up the top. You've got Parry at the top in Classic, the deflection talent, but then they've moved it down into the second tier in TBC. It's Entrapment they've done as well. So Entrapment at the moment is 5 points in Classic, but it's only 3 points, but for the same effect, but also affects Snake Trap, which is another new ability which we'll get into in the next section. So nothing major to talk about in tier 1 or 2. Actually, and improved wing clip as well. Exactly the same, but just 3 points instead of 5. So it's when we get down a little bit further that it starts to get interesting. Next tier is exactly the same, apart from Clever Traps. All they've done is just added Snake Trap. Obviously, your new trap's just been added onto it. Tier 4. Oh yeah, they got bored on tier 4. It's all exactly the same still. So yeah, tier 4 remains exactly the same. Improved Feign Death, Sure-Footed and Trap Mastery. So that's all good. Tier 5, so Survival Instincts has been added. Sounds a bit druidy to me. Well, it is very druidy. So reduces all damage taken by 4% and increases attack power by 4%. So both very nice for PvP and PvE. I think, 4% attack power is lovely, obviously, but the fact you're getting that damage taken reduced as well, it's, the less damage you take, the less strain on the healers, the more chance of you surviving, hence the name Survival Instincts, and you're going to do more damage as well, so that's really good. So tier 6, you've still got your 15% agility, which is obviously very nice. 15% agility is nice, but that talent means so much more in TBC now. So you've currently got it here in Classic, as you can see on screen, and then, So you still got it, but means so much more because it's what it leads into, which is what I keep banging on about and what I'm so excited about. So it's, the more agility you've got a survival, the more crit you've got a survival, the better the rest of the DPS, well, melee DPS and other hunters in the group do. So awesome. And then we've also now got Resourcefulness. So reduces the mana cost of all traps and melee abilities by 20% and reduces the cooldown of all traps by 2 seconds. So you'll notice I haven't actually took that in my survival build. You probably won't take it in your survival build, but nice PvP talent. They're trying to balance all these classes around arenas now. It's not just like Zerg AV, win in 6 minutes and run out. This is proper PvP in TBC now, boys and girls. So then, the God tier. We're done with the talents, I believe now. So let's get rid of that. So the God tier. So expose weakness. Your range criticals have a 100% chance to apply an expose weakness effect on the target. Expose weakness increases attack power of all attackers against that target by 25% of your agility for 7 seconds. Now you crit a lot. You crit a lot as a hunter. I'll even demonstrate now just while I'm talking to you about it, but you will absolutely crit a lot. So this buff will be up a lot. You can keep it up pretty much constant. It's on that mob now, and I'll probably crit again before it runs off because every 7 seconds is really not. You would expect to crit every 7 seconds is what I'm trying to say. So this is awesome, and the more agility you've got, the more it buffs everyone. And when I say everyone, it's not party-wide, it's raid-wide. So you only need one survival hunter in the raid with exposed weakness and bring improved hunter's mark. That's it. You don't really need... You could bring another hunter. A lot of TBC is about synergizing to max damage, not actually going, let's just take 20 warriors and 10 rogues, It's not like that in TBC because all the classes bring something unique, and you stack all these unique things up, and all of a sudden these higher top DPS are doing even more, obviously. So survival hunter, exposed weakness, awesome. So if we just look, I'm in greens at the moment, and I've got 419 agility in full greens. So. And it gives you 25%, so that's over 100 attack power in greens. Imagine how much agility you're going to have when you're in tier 6. It just scales so well. So in tier 6, when you've got 3-4 times the amount of agility I've got, you're going to be giving all the melee 300-400 attack power. That is absolutely crazy. So you want a good survival hunter. If we haven't got a hunter that goes survival, I would re-roll to be a survival hunter just to bring this buff because it's that good. As I said before, you'll be doing more personal DPS as Beast Mastery. But if we only had one hunter and he was BM, he would be survival or he would be out. Because BM, the 3% damage buff to 4 other people is nowhere near as good as being able to, let's say 2.5 parties would benefit from this buff and the tanks. It's awesome. Alright, enough about that. You might be I'm a feral druid at the end of the day, so anything that gives me attack power is happy days. So Wyvern Sting's the same. We'll just carry on. So Wyvern Sting's the same. Thrill of the Hunt is good, so gives you with 3 points gives you a 100% chance to regain 40% of the mana cost of any shot when it critically hits. I only go for 2 points just based on this build, which I'll put in later when we get to the rotation section. Master Tactician, so your successful range attacks have a 6% chance to increase your critical strike chance with all attacks by 10% for 8 seconds. So very nice. It's all about that crit. You want loads of agility, loads of crit, keep that exposed weakness buff up. And then readiness. So when activated, this ability immediately finishes the cooldown on your other hunter abilities. Very nice, back to back in. Just to show you quickly, if you wanted to do back to back rapid fires. I mean, this is probably going to die so quick anyway. But look, then I can get rapid fire up again with readiness. Pretty good. So that's the talents. Let's move straight on to the new abilities. So Steady Shot, a steady shot that causes base weapon damage plus 354, causes an additional 175 against dazed targets. So in PvP, when we were looking at the the talent in Marksman, where is it? Where was it? There, Concussive Barrage. Successful auto attacks have a 2% chance to daze the target. Synergizes well with Steady Shot, obviously, but in PvE, you're not going to be dazing bosses, so it's irrelevant. Although you will use it, you'll use Steady Shot a lot, a hell of a lot. So yeah, it's good. It's nice to have something else to press, so you're not just constantly auto-shotting. You'll have a macro that does all your abilities for you anyway, probably, because the Hunter's renowned for having a one-button macro in TBC, but I'm not going to share that with you because I don't want to turn you into bloody lazy raiders. Do your rotation yourself. It's not difficult. Okay, so the next one's Aspect of the Viper. So Aspect of the Viper is the Hunter takes on the aspects of the Viper regenerating mana equal to up to 55% of his intellect plus 35% of his level every 5 seconds. So loads and loads and loads of mana per 5. The lower the Hunter's current mana, the more mana will be regenerated. So as you use it as you go in home, so if I was to put it on now while I'm on like 3/4 mana, it's probably not going to go up particularly fast. Let's just see what we get over 5 seconds. Yeah, a couple of percent was that, tops. So, it's not great, but, when you get low, you can just flick it on when you're at like 20%, let your mana go up a bit, and then switch back to Aspects of the Hawk again. So, yeah, pretty good ability, really. And mana has been an issue for hunters. All through Classic. I'm not saying it's a massive issue, but you can't just spam abilities probably like you would want to, and like you can now. So then we got Kill Command next. So I'll use Kill Command now. I've just used it. So Kill Command is a Beast Mastery ability, which gives the command to kill, causing your pet to instantly attack for an additional 127 damage. Can only be used after the hunter lands a critical strike. So you will basically macro this into other abilities, so it uses it whenever it's available. Not really a lot else to say there. It's just I'm not going to say it's free damage because it still costs mana, but it's still nice after you crit, and especially like I said, as survival you're going to be critting a lot. So yep, not bad. Then you got Snake Trap, bit like it's not great. Like I'll put it down now. Loads of snakes come out. It's not that exciting, but they do like poison. You can see what they're putting on there. So you got crippling poison, mind numbing poison, deadly poison. So it's slowing their speed, slowing their casting speed, all that sort of stuff. So pretty good for PvP. And then finally, Misdirection. So Misdirection is obviously amazing. So Misdirection does the following. Oh, if I was in the right. There we go. So threat caused by your next 3 attacks is redirected to the target raid member. Caster and target can only be applied, blah, 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 blah. So basically, you cast it on the tank. The next 3 attacks you do redirect a threat from you to him. Beautiful. So you can go more or less full burst from the start, and your warrior's going to get aggro instantly. So, yeah, or even if you was in a raid and something spawns that needs to go, another tank's meant to pick up, you can be ready, have misdirection on the tank that's waiting. As soon as you see it spawn, boom, misdirect it to the tank. It's a game changer. It does actually change the way we raid, just that one ability, and I truly believe that. So they're the new abilities, there's some nice ones, some meh ones, like Aspect of the Vipers, good for mana and that, but still a bit boring. I like these massive, hard-hitting abilities, but still useful. So rotation. So I'll pre-warn you now. I'm not gonna talk about Marksman at all. I'm gonna go pure survival and beast mastery, because Marksman, if and when it's going to be viable in PvE at some point, or be competitive. I won't say viable. You can go and raid all of it as Marksman if you want, but you could bring more as survival and you could do more damage as beast mastery. So, if you want to gimp your raid, then by all means raid as Marksman, but I'm not going to bother going over it too much. I'll show you the PvE talent spec for Marksman, but you really want to be BM or survival. Preferably survival if you're the only hunter, as I've said loads of times. So let's put the talents up. So I'll put the talents on the screen. So we'll start with the one on the left is Beast Mastery, and then in the middle we'll have Survival, and then I'll put Marksman really small over the other side because I don't even want you to see what talents go in really. But so they're the specs. So a lot could be changed around. Well, not a lot, but there's a few talents you can move around. Obviously, I've not put improved Hunter's Mark. Let's actually look at the ability then. I've not put improved Hunter's Mark in purely because we're gonna work on the assumption that there's another hunter in the group that's got it. So if there's another hunter who's got it, don't worry about using it. If you're the only hunter, then obviously absolutely make sure you get it, because that's another buff to the melee. So let's now I'll just put over each talent pane, even though it's all pretty much the same. I'll just put the stat priorities as well, which you'll basically be gunning for at the beginning. I've not mentioned this in any other videos, but I am going to do a gear guide for every class and every spec quite slowly over the next, let's say, 6 months. So, because there's a lot of classes, a lot of specs to go through, and I'm going to have to do a lot of research on all the items, and where they come from and all of that. So I'll probably put 1, maybe 2 out a week maximum. But, they'll be good. So when you ding 70, you know what reputations you need to farm, what instances I'll literally do a high, medium and low priority instance list for each class. So right, if I'm a survival hunter, I need to be focusing on lower city dungeons, or I need to be focusing on Botanica or whatever to get the most items out of each dungeon. So that's going to be what I work on after this TBC intro to the changes has been finished. So make sure you subscribe just to see them, because I've got high hopes for them. So I'm hoping I do a good job of them. So yeah, the stat weights are on screen anyway. So take them with a pinch of salt. It's only really relevant for the probably for the first tier, because then as your gear changes, you'll sim your character, your stat priorities will change as you get more crit, haste might become more valuable, blah, 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 blah. I mention this in every video. Sim your character, find out what stats are best for you, but this is what you'll be wanting when you freshly ding 70. And then if we just go into the rotation, so we'll start with Beast Mastery. These are really, really quick and easy. You all know how easy it is to play a hunter. It's a noob class. So keep Hunter's Mark. So I'll do the same as I always do on the other video. So maintain Hunter's Mark. Then you're going to basically want a steady shot, auto shot, and kill command using rapid fire as much as you physically can. There's not really a lot to it. Bestial Wrath. You'd have to maintain a Sting, so I'll put the maintain Sting up there, but that would be Scorpid Sting 95% of the time, just because it's that good. But I mean, as I said before, you can go and find them yourself. I'm not going to put them on the screen because they're a bit lengthy anyway, and you're not going to be able to copy and paste off my screen. So you can get a macro which literally you just spam one button and it'll do steady shot, auto shot, kill command, steady shot, auto shot, kill command. It's like the optimal rotation all on one button. So if you like that sort of raiding, get that macro. And if you like that sort of raiding, get in contact me on Discord. My Discord details are in the description, and I'll send you the macro. So yeah, that's BM. So it's basically maintain those, use those on cooldown, but in that cycle, if you like. They call it a DPS cycle, not rotation. Hunters are special. So survival rotation. So it's basically steady shot, then arcane shot, or steady shot, then multi shot, alternating. That's it. So you'd go steady shot, multi shot, auto attack, steady shot, auto attack, steady shot, arcane shot, auto attack. You're basically just that's it. And again, you can have a one button macro that does that all for you. You're not going to be putting any aim shots in or anything like that as survival. Even though you take aim shot as a talent, you're not going to use it. You only took it just to get the next talent. So you took aim shot so you could get mortal shots. So yeah, a lot of steady shotting, a lot of arcane shotting. But you've got pet management thrown in there that arguably makes it a little bit more difficult. I say arguably because I don't think it really does make it much difficult at all. But that's it. That's the rotation. That's the talents. That's the stat priorities. Yeah, fairly straightforward for a hunter. So finally, viability. So let's start with PvP. So PvP, Beast Mastery will probably be the spec that you see the most. But Marksman in the right hands is probably the better spec. So in PvP, if you like a challenge, Marksman will be better than BM, but BM is just so much easier to play because it's just send your pet in Bestial Wrath and just spam buttons, whereas Marksman takes a bit of skill. So when we're talking viability, are they viable? Yes, the hunter overall is viable. Survival in PvP is a bit pants, but Beast Mastery and Marksman you can absolutely do. But as I say, you will see more Marksman, more Beast Mastery than Marksman. In PvE, it's just a little bit like not the opposite, but you've got your Beast Mastery, which will do the highest single target or even a little bit of cleave damage, but personal damage I'm going to call it. But survival will do slightly less than that, but bring far more to the raid. So viable, yeah. We're talking for a PvE perspective. You can take your pick of two out of three specs to PvE with, but I'm sure people will disagree with me that Marksman they probably used to play, and Marksman was as competitive as the other two specs. But I'd need to see that. I don't think it is, and I think certainly in the first tier, maybe by tier 5, tier 6, you might be able to keep up with maybe survival, but you're not going to keep up with Beast Mastery. Not personal damage, and you're not going to bring enough to the raid to warrant a spot over a survival hunter. So depends what you want, I suppose. But viability wise, PvE, PvP, yes, obviously the hunter's viable and is going to be wanted by lots of people. They're not going to have troubles getting spots or anything, so that's all good. So my thoughts on the hunter. I'm afraid to say it's not really for me. I've not been negative about any spec so far, or any class so far. And they've all got their strengths, all got their weaknesses. That's fine, but it's just not my style of play. I prefer melee. I find the hunter quite boring, to DPS on. I've been leveling a hunter on classic as well as TBC. It's not just not for me. It's you may really enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it because you're watching a hunter video, so I assume you've come here to find out what your class is going to be like in TBC. If you like it in Classic, you're going to love it in TBC. That's the bottom line. It's so much better in TBC than it is in Classic. Doesn't mean that I've got to like it, obviously, but you might not like playing a Feral Druid, so it's not about the class, it's about the player. It's about me. I just couldn't play one, but I couldn't play a mage either in raids. mages, you know, are all over the place. So don't worry, I'm not against hunters. I may call them huntards and stuff, but I don't mean it, so don't take it personally. But yeah, overall, lots of good changes, lots of fun to be had in TBC. So it's going to be in a good place. Even though I don't like hunters, apparently, I'm going to be taking a survival hunter with me everywhere I go, just for that buff. So yeah, you should be pleased. You should be pleased with what a hunter's going to be like in TBC. So my hunter friends and maybe non-hunter friends, if you stay right to the end, do give us a like and subscribe. We're pretty much, probably by the time this goes out, we'll be at a halfway mark towards the first giveaway. So the first giveaway is at 1,000 subscribers, as I said at the start. We're nearly at 500, or maybe at 500 by the time this uploads. So yeah, let's get that first giveaway and let's see who gets lucky. So next one I'm going to do is going to be Priest. So I'll see you on the next one.